Jason Blundell stated that the reason for removing Jugg in Black Ops 4 was to free up the selection and remove what he called crutch perks.
Well, while you mentioned Jugg, there is an absence of Jugg in this game.
Yes.
What was the decision-making process like that?
And when we got to perks, we had this problem. And the problem is that everyone gets the same things.
Now, the validity of that statement is shaky at best, also considering that BO4 made one of the biggest crutch perks ever, Dying Wish. But the idea of having a perk system where there's more freedom and variety is certainly a welcome idea. Unfortunately, Cold War went in the complete opposite direction and had no limit to the amount of perks. This absolutely ruined the balance of the game, making it a complete joke, with the player being far too overpowered. There is a zombie game, however, that has the classic 4 perk limit, removed Jugg as a perk, yet still has it in-game as a separate mechanic. That game is World War II. World War II Zombies is an often overlooked and overhated mode for seemingly no reason, as the game has 4 fully fleshed out maps, all with their own Easter eggs and wonder weapons. Not to mention the 4 unique survival maps, as well as the mission-based mode, the Tortured Path. But putting the amount of content aside, let's look at the mechanics of the game, because as different as they may seem, they are quite familiar to classic players of zombies. In World War II Zombies, there are 4 perk slots available to the player, which, funnily enough, there does exist an ability that can be equipped where you can have 5 perks. Now you might think, well, with 5 slots, that should give the player a spot for Jugg, as well as any other perks they'd want. This, however, isn't the case, as Jugg isn't in the game. An entire new system has been introduced to replace it: armor. Now, I know when players hear armor nowadays, they immediately think of Cold War's armor system. But while they may share a similar concept, the idea and execution is completely different. While Cold War, Vanguard, and Modern Warfare 3 Zombies armor is an additional bar of health that mitigates some damage, the World War II armor is your health. In-game, the player has a circular bar of health that can provide 3 hits before going down. This may not sound like much, but in World War II, the zombie AI is much different and is programmed around this lower amount of health. All around the map, there are armor stations. Similar, but unlike Cold War, these stations cost points per purchase, not a secondary kind of currency. When bought, the player gains 3 shields on their armor/health. This means that once the 3 hits are taken and the player is red screened, if they continue to get hit, they have 2 extra hits before going down. Now here is where this mechanic gets interesting. If the player, once losing 1 shield icon, can allow their health to regen and the circle fills back up to full, then the player must be hit another 3 times before losing another shield. So technically, the player has a grand total of 12 hits before going down. If they play their cards right, they will be able to regain the extra bar of armor before all of it is lost. What this system does is act similarly to the shield from Black Ops 4, in needing to rebuy or repair it periodically with a slight price increase over time. But here, because the zombies aren't as aggressive as they are in BO4, the armor/health system fits much better. This allows for the player's perk selection to be much more focused on particular abilities rather than always having to buy the perk that gives you more health, as there's no reason why the player wouldn't do that. This game, as well as BO4, highlights the reality that if the mechanics of the game are going to change, keeping everything the same won't let zombies grow. If the armor in Cold War and Modern Warfare Zombies acted how it does here, needing to get salvage or hope for armor drops and needing to stow plates in your inventory wouldn't be necessary. Because of the nature of Juggernog, it has always acted as a deterrent for choosing vastly different perks as the Zombies game mode went on. This is why when certain new perks were added, others were taken away as to highlight the new ones. As when they added PhD and Stamina Up on Ascension, they removed Double Tap. Nowadays, there is no perk limit. But the mode is either too easy because of it, or too frustrating because many perks have been nerfed. With Cold War and Modern Warfare 3, the proverbial genie is out of the bottle. If the next game returns to a 4 or 5 perk limit, many new players will complain that they're being restricted. not realizing that at one point that restriction was done to keep the balance of the game in check. Over time, however, balance was getting in the way of creativity, which is when games like World War II and BO4 tried different things. Is there a true perfect system? Is there a zombie game with the objective best mechanics? No, there isn't. But I can appreciate the games that innovated and tried something new, even if it wasn't perfect. New ideas and creativity is always more appealing to me than playing it safe. Because seeing something that doesn't work is important to learn from to make the next game better. And I really do hope that with Treyarch's game this year and the supposed Black Ops 2 remake in 2025, that we'll get some daring and new ideas again.